Ministry of Education during the annual Kenya National Kenya Schools and Colleges Drama Festivals. Professor George Shwani started here Culture Village, and he took those people, the dancers, the artists, the actors, the actresses, to Cameroon, to Tanzania, to Uganda. So far, now he's resting in peace. We have not had that kind of support.
We are America, and however low we are in society, we have got our own place to fight, we have got our own battles to fight.
He loved theater. So why can't all of us fall, particularly at the higher level, fall in love just as much as we support sports? Why can't we also fall in love with theater? When I was working for 2 years in Chancellor College, University of Malawi, I am telling you, I had full government support when I was teaching theater. I had full, that's how we developed, and these people still want me to go back. But the age is against me. These are third year students who have already done introduction to theater arts, LT 309.
What does that entail?
Scripting, LT 309 scripting. They come up with their own creations. I teach them creative writing, how to script a play. Now this one, they deal with a published play. A published play, LT 310, Theatre Arts Intermediate. A published play. The Bride is not an easy play. I have had to edit it so that to streamline it according to their level. It's not easy. It's a 3-hour performance, but here we are going to have just 1 hour. What we need to do as a country is to come together and raise funds, let them expose them. In fact, there is a lot that can be done, they can do without having to rely on, I'm now applying for a job I've graduated from. This is self-employment. I need you to take full responsibility of incorporating theater and technology in theater arts. That's why Florence Ndung are here, so that you incorporate technology. When I used to live in Britain for the 4 years, honestly, I was voted the best actor by London, by Oxford, because of technology. And I was learning new things. Technology has a lot to do with the promotion. The technology has a lot to do with mentoring. Technology has a lot to do with creating hope in people who are almost giving up. Keep it up.
Now, it's the time to look. Navua, stand before my father. No! Stand! So the kingdom, so you decided. You decided just...
The writer was perfect.
Like, he was so amazing, and the actors were everything. They were funny, they were entertaining, they were everything that you can look for a movie. Like, you want to get entertained, you want to get educated, you want to look through the past like a mirror and just see whatever's going down. And they did everything, because like a past, not like a past, but it's more of like a past movie, like tradition and everything. So it was okay for me.
You've actually had to have enjoyed that so much. It's only on KUTV Primetime News where you get such daunting reports. I'm sure you're impressed wherever you are. We take a short break. We'll be back with more news in a moment.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pipopasi kukufuku. Pipopa ni idea.
Sazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vilevile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Driving and riding without incidences on the road is such an amazing experience. But do you know, while many road traffic crashes are avoidable, human behavior continues to be the leading cause. Speeding, lane indiscipline, drunk driving, distracted driving, failure to wear a helmet, and failure to use available pedestrian ways have been flagged by NTSA as the fatal 6 behaviors likely to lead to a fatal crash and serious injuries. As part of the Usalama Barabarani campaign, we request all road users to prevent these fatal 6 behaviors for their own safety and that of others. When driving, ensure your speed is within the stipulated limits, the road ahead is clear before overtaking. Stick to your lane, keep left unless carefully overtaking. You're well rested if driving on long distances, and you never drink and drive. Usalama.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
Ukiwa na dukuduku la michezo, tunafungua sanduku la dukuduku kwa ufahamu zaidi. Kila danadana, mitimko, mifiatuko na harakati zote ugani, sisi ni wako mwandani. Kukurukakara zote nyanjani, haziwezi kuangaziwa zaidi ya micharazo michezoni. Mimi mwanaspoti wako matata Peter Pinches Mwaora, ndakuwa na jopo lenye maarifa sufufu, nikufahamishe na nikuburudishe wewe shabiki shakiki kwa uhakiki na kindakindaki.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business blogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
Lola ni programu inayokupa fursa ya kutizama video zozote pindi tu unapokuwa na nafasi. Hadithi za kukupa motisha, drama, maisha ya vyuo vikuu, teknolojia, masuala ya jamii, kuzuru maeneo tofauti, spoti, burudani na zaidi. Pata programu ya Lola sasa kwenye rununu yako kwa yote unayohitaji.
Karibu kwenye mitindo ya kipwani.
Nguo yangu wasenesi magire mtuzeha sana nenda finira chechemegwe. Nguo yangu wasenesi magire mtuzeha.
Yaani unavyoona basi niko kipwani pwani tu.
Wali unapopika inatakana uko half cooked.
Bageri.
Niko katika kaunti ya Kilifi, magavazi ya Gede.
Stream live mitindo ya kipwani on our KUTV Facebook page every Saturday 4 p.m.
Welcome back to KUTV Primetime News, and as usual, we are streaming live on our social media platforms at KUTV Kenya Live on YouTube. We are streaming live, and we also invite you to this conversation of the day, which is actually involving both of us. So join us on our social media handles. At Twitter, it's at KUTV_Kenya and KUTV Kenya on Facebook. Now, it is virtually impossible for you not to have received their service at one time or another in your life. As workers who perform the most essential healthcare tasks, nurses serve as the first point of contact for most patients, from assisting with life-threatening crises to delivering babies and caring for the elderly in their last moments. Nurses perform some of the most difficult tasks and heartbreaking tasks in the medical world. This versatile career with dozens of specialties is a crucial link between patients and doctors. Today, nurses work in a wide range of specialties and settings, from school nurses who administer vaccines to highly specialized oncology nurses who assist in life-saving treatment decisions. So important is their input that rather than a day, we honor them with a week. Nurses Week, celebrated annually within the birthday of Florence Nightingale, the founder of the modern nursing. And the theme this year is Nurses, a voice to lead, invest in nursing, and respect rights to secure global health. And on set, I'm joined by the president of the Kenya Students and Novice Nurses and the country representative to Africa Novice Nurses and Students Initiative, Ngalula Donald, in this week of celebrating these heroes and heroines. Mr. President, welcome to KUTV Primetime News.
Thank you very much. It's an honor hosting me here and by extent hosting the profession here today.
Yeah, and you have the task of being a president of people who actually did vote for you, I believe.
Yes.
And they put you in a position where you are like their voice. How is the experience so far?
Well, I can say the experience is explorative. I mean, you get new experiences daily because you can imagine you're dealing with human management and representing. In this case, we're talking about advocacy. So for me, the experience has been overwhelming, and daily we are learning new things, how to do things better. Just like the theme of this year is being a voice that leads. So daily we are learning on how to better our voices as young leaders and leading the voice for the profession.
And looking at the current times within the country, we are facing a tough economic moment. And these novices and students are people who look up to you. Like, how do you manage the whole challenge of that they're actually seeking a position to actually join the job market? There are nurses who are actually very eager to go run into the field and actually perform everything that they were trained for. How do you manage this?
Well, that's quite a good one. And truth be said, when students or nursing students are in school and just newly qualified nurses get out of school, we are usually very enthusiastic to come and serve, because that is what we've been trained to do. That's what we've been brought up to do, to serve. But unfortunately, due to the structure of our economy, many times you find the job market is not ready to absorb the growing numbers of graduates who are being produced each year. If when you check statistics, each year we graduate around 1,000 degree nurses and slightly about 4,000 diploma nurses and others. All these newly qualified nurses need jobs, okay? But what meets them just after graduating is that the job market, due to the structure of our economy, is not ready to absorb them as it were before devolution. So these changes have pretty well affected the job market.
And still looking on matters health, like in the recent budget, around 62.3 billion Kenya shillings was allocated towards facilitating universal health coverage, the flagship program by President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, how is this program working out in the factor of actually accommodating these new graduates, these new scholars who have graduated from their training? How is it working out?
Well, the World Bank says that UHC is about countries utilizing the most important resource in health, and that is human health. And to add on that, I want to say this one, that nurses are the key drivers for UHC through a program called primary health care. Meaning, for us to achieve UHC, we need primary, to enhance primary health care. And the drivers of primary health care are the nurses. Meaning, as much as we want to talk to achieve UHC, people who are at the key policy positions should be able to identify the position of nurses in delivering UHC. But is this really happening? Fairly no. Why? You remember in around 2020, there was the government introduced an internship for UHC staff. That one included nurses. But if you looked at their remuneration, it wasn't a package worthy their service. Right now, we have nursing interns who are awaiting to be posted for, to be absorbed for internship, the regular internship program, BSNs, but they haven't yet been absorbed. So these people, these young nurses, when they face this kind of treatment by the people, the policymakers who should be enhancing UHC, tend to have a changed perception about the profession, and this one affects our practice locally. And thus, achieving UHC without empowering and understanding the role that nurses play in as key drivers in achieving UHC may not actually be deliverable. So we need to really invest in nurses.
Okay, I'm looking at the idea, and I'm also thinking about another thing. We've seen programs coming about for nurses to be shipped to other countries to go and serve there. At least I have some slight knowledge to know that what happens within our treatment system is the same that would happen in another country. Like, it's almost a unique system, the same system. Now, what is your view on that? That we are actually now, according to statistics, we have a shortage of nurses in the country.
Yes.
But we are shipping our nurses to go abroad, to go and serve there, not for training, but to go and actually work there. What are we doing to ourselves?
Well, it's a sad state of affairs. If I may let our viewers know, is that the government uses about 1.8 million Kenyan shillings to train one nurse. That is a degree nurse.
1.8 million.
Yes. To train one degree nurse and release this nurse into service, the government will have invested 1.8 million shillings in that person. We are training, we are releasing about 1,000 degree nurses per year. If you do the maths. Now, it is very unfair for the government to invest this much in nurses, then allow these nurses to export their services outside. But is it in the making of nurses to export their services? Trust you me, nobody fancies going to work abroad. We all want to serve our people because these are our brothers, our sisters, our families. We want to serve them from here. But now the type of jobs and the salary structures that we are subjected in, including unemployment, yet we have shortage, is what now is forcing many nurses to ship outside. But if you listen to them very well, none wants to go out. We all want to work here. But if the employers do not appreciate nurses as they should be appreciated, then we are left with no choice but to go where our skills are appreciated.
Which is a very, very worrying state. Now, president to president, like we are on live, we are going all over the country, yes? What would you tell those who are in power? We actually heading through to an election period. What is your take? What would you actually emphasize for those who are aspiring to even take up the next regime to actually ensure, within the health sector, to ensure there is no any disturbance or collapse or turbulence of any sort concerning the nurses? What would you say?
Well, to the people aspiring to be leaders and be elected, especially to in the National Assembly, we cannot have a healthy nation which is sick. We cannot have a shared prosperity with a sick nation. Therefore, we must, I'm urging them to prioritize creating an enabling environment that enables nurses and other healthcare workers, by extension, to thrive. And this includes issues like the Healthcare Workers Commission, Health Service Commission, which is something that many healthcare workers are really urging the government to facilitate. Because if we leave the management of human resource in health to the counties, we have seen the way it has been mismanaged in the last 10 years of devolution. So the people who are coming in should really invest in creating an independent, a constitutional health service commission, just like the Teacher Service Commission, which will deal with all matters human resource. We have had issues with CBS, where healthcare workers have been going on strike, and I want to talk about nurses. In all these strikes that we have had, are they able to come down and sit with nurses and reflect on where was the problem, what can we do to help you provide service better? Because we have documents of CBAs which are rotting. The CBAs have not been honored. The last CBA was to expire this year, but it is expiring without implementation. So why are we signing CBAs and not honoring them? So we need goodwill, leaders who have got goodwill about the health affairs of this nation. As much as they can get private healthcare, we need to think about the common mwananchi so that we may really say we are achieving what? Universal health coverage, which is equitable.
Now, President Galula,
yes.
Now coming to the matters on the ground, we just come closer to the nurses. In 2020, when COVID showed us its face, it is the time when we understood what is really meant by nurses being frontline workers, because the work they were engaged in was really something that we cannot take for granted. The vaccination, the testing, the attending to even the ones who are disturbed by the virus a lot was actually undertaken by nurses. We saw that these were people who we really needed in the country. And sometimes they say you never miss the water till the well runs dry. And for that moment, we understood why the healthcare system was very important to us. We even saw new hospitals coming up. We saw gymnasiums being turned into hospitals because there was that need that was actually noted. Now, looking at the fact of frontline workers, if you're on the front line, the threat against you is very, very high. That's what I perceive when you say frontline. It means you're meeting it head on. Now, currently in the country, what are the measures in place to try and maybe even reduce the effects that may come, maybe if a nurse is exposed to maybe an illness. Maybe they're exposed to even a virus, or maybe they're harmed by chemicals that they're handling in hospital. Maybe even they're attending maybe to those who are a little bit psychotic. They get beaten up, maybe violence between the patients and the nurses. What are the measures in place currently in our country to protect nurses from all this?
Wow. I can tell you that is quite an emotive question that has really affected many nurses. COVID came and taught us a lot of things. And like many of us usually say that COVID was a game changer. And COVID came and exposed the gaps in our healthcare system. We were caught unawares, we were caught pants down. And if you check very well, we lost some of our colleagues, and some of these deaths could have been prevented because of simple issues like provision of PPEs, which some hospitals were not provided for, or rather they were insufficient. I got an opportunity to work during that period and attend to COVID-19 patients. And these are the things we witnessed. The year 2020, the World Health Organization declared it as the International Year of the Nurses. You know, we usually have the Week of the Nurses and the Day of the Nurses, but now that one was the Year of Nurses and Midwives, in honor of the work that nurses do in promoting health. But is that enough? What have we learned since 2020 up to date? Has enough been done? No. That's what I will say. Fairly no. We tried and came up with knee-jerk programs for mental health, because remember, COVID came with a lot of mental health issues. So to support nurses and healthcare workers, we had knee-jerk reaction programs, which today some don't exist. After issues of COVID went, and now the same programs were diluted with the end of COVID. And do we have measures right now to protect nurses? These are some of the things that nurses have been asking employers and the government and policymakers to look into. Number one is about exposure to risks. Nurses spend most of their time, they are the people who are exposed to patients most of the time than any other healthcare worker in a hospital. And if this is the person who is exposed and does majority of the procedures, then this is the person who bears the highest risks. And the principle of equity. People who bear the highest risks should also get the highest benefits.
Very true.
And is this true about nurses in this country? No. If you check about the risk allowance that nurses have been complaining about, a nurse in Kenya is paid a risk allowance of 3,850 shillings. Meaning, if you get injured at work, you are being compensated 3,850 shillings per month. And to treat you will take more than that. Look at the insurances that nurses have been, healthcare workers and nurses are subjected to. And these are some of the things that nurses were complaining about in 2020 when we went for an industrial action. Now, do we have a listening ear? If we had a listening ear, I believe, these are things, they will have been sorted out way since 2017 when we've been asking about CBA. Because in the CBA, nurses were asking to have a harmonized risk allowance. And we're not asking for, nurses were not asking for much. They were asking, if you're paying us a risk allowance of 3,000, kindly please, we are facing a lot of, we've been exposed to a lot of risk. Just make it 20. We'll be comfortable with that one. But that one has not been done. So honestly being said, I think enough as, I know people are trying to put in measures, including supporting mental health. I know there's a program right now to support nurses. It's called Nurses for Nurses.
And in fact, I think that's a very critical fact, because looking at soldiers and PTSD, you imagine like a nurse will also be going through such, because the things they see are things that can haunt you for ages. A lot of mental health has to be like, the focus has to be there.
Exactly. We had a lot of mental health issues during COVID, because you can remember during that time, even the people who were employed to work in COVID areas, some of them went 5 months without salary. We have had colleagues who have unfortunately died by suicide out of issues coming from work. So if healthcare workers are not well supported, then the quality of service being provided in the country obviously is going to be affected.
Indeed. A lot has to be done in this sector. A lot, even as we commemorate this week.
Exactly.
Now, on a lighter note, the idea of male nurses, they've been the subject of ridicule.
Yes.
But they do exist. You are a male nurse, I believe.
Yes, I am.
And like, you go to hospital, a patient will be like, sister, when addressing the female nurses. How addressing the male nurses becomes like a little bit of a hassle, because you wonder now, how do I call this guy? So is there like, looking at the culture in the country, is there a term that actually involves even the male nurses, so that the discrepancy and the discrimination doesn't really pan about?
Well, that is something that exists, and unfortunately it's like a culture, because remembering nursing, the founder of modern nursing is female, and the way nursing grew from ladies.
Yeah, but we're working on a world of equality.
Yes.
If you're talking equality, you have to involve male too.
Yeah, so to change the perception of people, because people have always associated nursing with the female gender, but right now we have male nurses. So to change that perception, we may need to quietly educate people. But what I want to urge the public is that when you go to a hospital, we all bear name tags, and the name tag has a name. That is why you may find, unfortunately, you may find people calling patients calling a female doctor sister, and it may not really sound well with her. They may call me a male nurse, daktari, which is something that doesn't augur well with me, because I like being called nurse. You see, so let us learn to address people with their names, which we bear on our name tags. Our name tags have got names, and also the titles we hold in the hospitals.
Quite direct. And I'm liking the way you're saying you are a nurse and you want to be addressed as a nurse. Now, on a final finisher, on that camera, tell those students who are now looking at that course, because it is expensive, it is tasking, it is challenging. More than a profession, it is termed a calling. Talk to them. They are about to take this course, they are in this course, they are facing the hurdles that come about. Talk to them. Even those novices who are actually waiting to join the job market, talk to them, because you are their president.
Okay. Wow, my people.
Wonderful.
So the student nurses and young nurses outside there, one thing I've always told you when we meet is that nursing is a career that changes your entire perception about life and care for humanity. And we came to this profession to serve. One thing I would like you to know is that we are in the right place. We are going in the right direction. We might have our challenges, but the good things we do are above our challenges. So today, when you look at your friend who is a nurse, give a pat to that nurse, give a hug to that nurse, and appreciate the work that nurses do. For the student nurses and young nurses, I urge you to look for a mentor who will hold your hand and be able to show you direction out of the ocean that we are normally dropped in. If you have a mentor, then you get a sense of direction. Otherwise, I wish you well, and really want to congratulate you for pursuing this road. And the future of the profession is bright. Thank you.
Yeah, and also the Kenya National Nursing Council license exams will be taking place from the 16th to the 20th. Give them a success card.
Oh yes, I have got friends who are doing their license exams in the coming week. Mine is, I want to wish you all the best. The exam is easy, trust me. I did it, I passed. Many have done it, they have passed. I wish you all the best, and looking forward to meeting all of you in different areas of the profession. All the best, dear colleagues.
Thank you, Donald, for your moment. Thank you for actually making time to come and talk to us, and even open up more about the nursing field. You heard it right there from the president. The nursing field, all the nurses out there, have a wonderful nursing week, and actually understand that even as Kenyans, we do appreciate you and your services. We may not say it, but believe you, we do appreciate. We take a short break right here on KUTV Primetime News. Stay tuned, we'll be back with the sports news. Usitoke. Yeah, and here we go into the world of sports, where the Kenya Rugby Union has fired Kenya Sevens coach Namco Simiyu. However, a statement from the union indicated that they have parted ways with the coach, who is a former Kenya Sevens and Kenya Simbas international. The union has instead appointed Brighton Damian McGrath to take over from Simiyu for a period of 2 years that will see him guide the team to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Simiyu handled the team during the 2020 Tokyo Olympics last year. Isaac Makoha became the first Kenyan golfer to ever win a medal at the Deaf Olympics. The Kenya amateur champion was outclassed by Deaf Olympics champion John Allen of Germany in the semi-finals before taking on another German, Goldako Nikon, beating him 2-ups to bag bronze. It was, however, a bad day in the office for the other Kenyan golfers, including Adan Wario and Gilbert Alikula, who failed to make it past the stroke stage. Wario opted out after suffering injury to his hand training, while Alikula was eliminated after finishing 18th on the overall standings. Moving on, we move again. Manchester United. Manchester City stamped out their authority yesterday night against Wolves in an exemplary performance at Molineux Stadium. Kevin De Bruyne scored 4 goals with Raheem